internet, it's Lindsay. Pizza has probably been the most important food of my life. Every Friday night when I was growing up, my mom would make her homemade pizza, and we'd set up a picnic blanket in front of our television in the family room, and we'd watch movies together. This is where I was introduced to Star Wars and James Bond, and just kind of my love of movies in general grew out of these nights. A lot of people think of pizza as a frozen food thing or a delivery thing, but it's really not that hard to make at home. It can be healthier, tastier, and cheaper if you make it yourself. So I'm going to show you how to make pizza in just a few minutes.
We're going to start with 2½ teaspoons of active dry yeast and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Mix these together. Then run some warm water. It's easy to tell water temperature with your wrist. Too cold and the yeast won't wake up, but too hot and you'll kill them all! Yeast mass murder! Ah! Just think comfortably warm. Once your water is at temperature, add 1 cup and stir. Then you'll need to let the little yeasties wake up for a few minutes. Bubbles and growth means your yeast is alive and good to go. If nothing happens, they're all dead and you need to start over. Maybe try fresher yeast. But our yeast is alive! It's alive! Now we'll need flour and olive oil. Measure 2¼ cups flour into a large mixing bowl. Oh, and you can also add a pinch of salt, but low sodium alert, it's optional, though it does make it taste better. Drizzle some olive oil into the little yeast colony and add it all to the flour. Now we're going to fold everything together until all the flour is incorporated into a ball of dough. It should be slightly sticky to the touch, but not at all wet. Spray the inside of the bowl with Pam. The bowl won't be completely clean, and that's okay. And toss the dough to coat it. Cover the bowl with saran wrap. And then place a towel over the bowl to block the light. Yeast like the dark, and leave it in a warm place for the dough to proof. Now we can prep our equipment and toppings. This recipe is really versatile. It makes 2 large pizzas, or 1 large pizza and 2 small pizzas, or 4 small pizzas, or 3 small pizzas and 1 tiny loaf of bread, or 2 small pizzas and 2 tiny loaves of bread. You can actually just cut this recipe in half for 2 small pizzas. Or 2 small pizzas and 1 larger loaf of bread. Oh, okay, stop. We'll be doing 3 small pizzas and 1 tiny loaf of bread today. Next, you'll need your favorite pizza sauce. This is the one we happen to have right now, but I'll also recommend Pastorelli's, which is a Chicago thing, but I found this one at Target last week. Low sodium alert part 2! You can also make your own pizza sauce with 2 cans of tomato paste, adding oregano, basil, and garlic powder to taste. Add a can full of water to thin it out. We're good to go on sauce, so we'll also need some shredded mozzarella cheese and the most heavenly of all pizza toppings, freshly cut pineapple.
Pineapple is the pizza topping of choice for the elegant and sophisticated people of the world who have evolved taste buds that can appreciate the subtlety and complexity of this most choice of ingredients. The sweetness of the pineapple paired with the saltiness of the sauce and cheese makes for an eating experience so majestic and beautiful.
I'm not really sure what's going on right now. Also, it's just healthier than pepperoni. Don't diss it if you haven't tried it. Though your dining partners may be boring and unoriginal, so you might want to keep pepperoni and mushrooms handy too. You can just saute the mushrooms in a little bit of oil and wine, and remember, as Julia Child says, don't crowd the mushrooms! Now let's check in on our dough. It's been about 30 minutes, but you can't tell because I put my camera in DeLorean mode. Spray your hands with some Pam, and beat the living daylights out of that dough! Oh, come on, Lindsay, that was so disappointing. But working the dough like this removes large air pockets and redistributes smaller bubbles, giving our crust a better texture. If you're impatient, you can skip this step and make your pizzas now, but we're going to let this proof one more time. You can actually repeat proofing a few times if you're delayed for whatever reason, like binge watching YouTube videos or something. Now, it's a time to make the pizzas! Our dough has risen another 30 minutes, so it's time to spray the pans and make sure they're greased completely along the bottom and up the sides. I really recommend cooking spray for this. I've used canola oil before with less than excellent results. Keep some of the oil from the pans on your hands and split the dough up into 4 portions. Shape the little loaf of bread into a small roll. You can also use a tiny bread pan for this. What to do with the bread, you ask? Cut it into small cubes, coat it with some olive oil, and bake into tasty croutons. Now stretch the dough out over the bottom of each pan and a little up the sides. A thin layer is fine as long as there aren't any holes. Now top with sauce. Low sodium sauce for our low sodium pizza. There's no measurement for this really, just a thin layer, but add more if you like a saucy pizza. And now cheese! I usually just start with a big handful and see if that's enough. And now for the fun part, the toppings. You can really put anything you want on a pizza. It's kind of like a sandwich. You can put anything between two slices of bread. You could top it with anchovies. You could replace the pizza sauce with barbecue sauce and put some chicken and sliced red onions on it. That's actually really good. You could even make a cheeseburger pizza by replacing the mozzarella with cheddar and topping it with some hamburger. But now that I've said that, I'm not quite sure how that would turn out. That might be gross. The only thing that really matters is the preferences of the person that's going to be eating it. Our pizzas need to proof one last time for about 20 minutes to let the dough get a little airy again, but it's finally time to preheat the oven, 400 degrees, folks. Pro tip, if you have sauce left over when you're cleaning up, you can freeze it in individual portions. It's super easy to thaw for next time. DeLorean movie magic, it's ready! Our little bread loaf has become a big bread loaf. Put your pizzas in the oven and set the timer for 20 minutes. And then you have to suffer through the complete agony of waiting. DeLorean movie magic, they're done! And they smell really good. I wish YouTube had smell-o-vision. Even our little loaf of bread looks good. Look at these beautiful pizzas that you made yourself! With beautiful crispy crusts! Ta-da! Pizza! Pineapple pizza, which is the best kind.
So now it's time for me to go eat this and watch a movie and have a good Friday night. So now you know how to make pizza at home. I'll see you later.